Let's check out the garden since the last tour in August 2021. The weather took a drastic change from 90 degrees Fahrenheit to 50 degrees. Most of the warm weather plants like tomato, melon, and peppers are struggling in the cooler weather, so I need to find a solution to keep them warmer at night. The walkway now has some divided iris plants. The process reminded me like a puzzle, attempting to break off the bottom of the plants to make new plants. It's rather amusing how many new plants came from what appeared to be 2 plants. I ended up with at least 60 potential plants. Since I had no idea what to do with so many iris plants, I planted them closely here. I'll figure out what to do next year based on whatever plants survive. Tomato Alley is doing as expected with the cooler weather. Since a variety of tomato plants survived last year and gave me a decent harvest in February, I'll experiment with a slanted polytunnel with some poles and green plastic. We'll see if it'll extend the harvest. Future plans for the area: figure out how to make a budget-friendly polytunnel and move all the warm weather plants to this area. The lantern garden now has broccoli, snapdragons, and peas. Future plans for the area: move out the warm weather plants, amend the soil, and plant beets, peas, spinach, carrots, and brassicas. The boardwalk is almost ready for some seedlings from the greenhouse, but at the moment there's some strawberry plants in the back with a retired squash and some happy snapdragons in bloom. The petunias are also in bloom, spilling over in this pot. Future plans for this area: amend the soil, set up a pea trellis, and transplant seedlings from the greenhouse. The aeration pots have some happy plants, especially these carrots. This area also needs an overhaul with some warm weather plants moved to Tomato Alley. The greenhouse has been a wonderful sanctuary for the seedlings. Here is a quick tour of things growing in the greenhouse. I have Malabar, Patsoi, which is kind of like an Asian green, calendula. This is tons of parsley, carrots, some cauliflowers, beets over here, butter crunch lettuce. There's some dill, some kohlrabi, Napa cabbage. This is so much more than what I had last September in the greenhouse. The strawberry patch is now a simple garden patch as I moved most of the strawberry plants to other areas of the garden. Future plans for the area: plant tons of brassicas, herbs, and spinach. It's the end of October, and the weather has been 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The garden now has a budget-friendly polytunnel that should allow the warm weather plants to survive the winter. My primary goal of having a polytunnel this year is to prevent the pepper plants and the hibiscus plants from retiring. Let's take a quick tour inside. Here is the first polytunnel tour. We've got petunias, 4 tomato plants, got 2 okra plants in the back. Got at least 5 or 6 pepper plants in here, and this hibiscus plant, which appears to be enjoying the polytunnel. Since I have put these pepper plants in here, one of these pepper plants went for it. Look at all these peppers growing on here. But this guy is heavy laden with some fruit. For the lantern garden, I moved the artichoke plant here, and it looks much happier for it. The catnip, sage, and marigolds are doing well in the cooler weather. The aeration pots area now has some broccoli growing, tons of carrots, and I'm actually impressed. All these onions started popping up from when I planted them in January 2021. The boardwalk now has peas, chard, broccoli, and these African daisies appear to be enjoying the cooler weather lately. Aw, there she is. Sweet Rocket came by to say hello to everyone. It's late December, and the weather has been ranging from 30 degrees to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. As much as a sprinkle of snow in the morning that melts by noon is beautiful, this California girl is never a fan of the snow. Thankfully, the greenhouse and the polytunnel are keeping the seedlings and warm weather plants safe from the snow. It's January and the garden needs a revamp, but I'm gonna hold off to do anything until I plant some seeds. In late January, I started tomato and squash seeds. So squash and tomatoes. I've already got some cold winter stuff in the garden right now. These Still doing pretty good. I think I need to add some extra water here. Come on, Jessie, let's go to greenhouse. Yeah, come on. Alright, the greenhouse is a complete disaster, but I am organized when it comes to keeping all of my farmer labels. This is so embarrassing. But the garden, for the most part, hasn't changed too much. I cannot wait until I can harvest some broccoli in February. It's February and the garden is showing signs of spring. I started tons of flower seeds early this year, before a lot of the edibles. I really wanted to establish as many guardian plants as possible to protect the edible plants from pests. Guardian plants is something I made up when I noticed how much flowers and herbs provide pollinators, beneficial insects, but some of these plants also add nitrogen in the soil. As much as I thought I was getting ahead by planting all these seeds, nature had something else in mind. I was rather startled not a week after I planted those seeds. Nearly 2 feet of snow decided to fall. Here's my reaction that day. Snowing! I don't think it's snowed this much before. Not during February. I had to cover my African daisies. Oh, it's cold. Oh, I gotta cover these guys. Sorry, buddies. Alright, should be fine. Everybody else should be good. Pretty cold, hardy. Oh my gosh. The calendula should be fine. Broccoli will do okay. Everything else is pretty cold, hardy. I had to grab the petunias. They were sitting here and put them in there. Hello, winter. As you can see, there were a lot of adventures to be had that day. Well, that's what happened since the last garden tour in August 2021. Until next time.